Hi, my name is Ash Singh. I am an adopted child of some of the Spanish royalty. Okay. I would like to hear more about how you're changing the world with your startup, Openfabric. Tell me, what are you working on?
Glad to meet you, Ash. So, I'm Andrei. I'm the CEO of Openfabric. We are building Openfabric, the Internet of AI, a platform where end consumer can use turnkey AI apps without any technical knowledge or advanced infrastructure. In
Mm,
a way, very similar as we currently use any web page. So, Openfabric is leverage the Web3 technology to create a new marketplace to fill the current AI industry gap and bring together developer infrastructure and data into an integrated ecosystem
mm.
with the final purpose to propose like very high quality apps.
Okay.
So yeah, we just concluded a partnership regarding AI integration with IPFS, DeepShare, DataLink, and AP3 and Reef.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of interest regarding using AI technology and integrate it in other projects and other products.
Yes. Yes. Interesting. Tell me, Andre, what do you need? How can I help you?
So right now we're in the process in doing a raise. We almost concluded our seed raise of a 500,000, and
Sure.
after that we want to get to the next stages and raise the 3.5 million in the private sale.
Got it. Understood. Okay. With your own internal ICO, right? Something internally for you to build. Got it.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay, let's get some feedback for Andre on the Openfabric in the chat. Okay. There's some we'll get some feedback going in the chat for you, Andre, but let me kick off with a couple of questions. I want to, for me, when you kicked off your pitch, you talked about just making AI available to consumers, just like people can now launch a website, right? It's just
Yes.
point and click, zero code, right? And we've kind of gone through this journey. When we think about HTML, I remember back in the day where you needed to know HTML, right? Then, you went into, Java, Python. There's a lot of different coding languages now that are more or less point and click now, right? From a basic level. And so what you're saying, your true value proposition is around, the idea of leveraging, point, click, zero code, leverage different types of AI. And so I wanted, as you were speaking, I kind of wanted to know the use cases. Are these use cases that are primarily going to be run by businesses or consumers, right? Where my mind was is that I wanted to know a little bit more about that. Can you share that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, we are creating an environment where like AI developers can deploy the solution and the user can consume it in a very simple manner. So in a similar way as we are a kind of app store for AI apps.
Got it.
So the people that as was in the previous startup
Yes.
Vida,
Yes.
speaking about recognizing all kind of face gesture and things like that. Basically, a developer can deploy that solution Open Fabric, and the end consumer can integrate that very easily without having to do like technical setup, like do like configuration. So basically, click on a button, get a sort of widget, put it on his webpage, on product or whatever, and
Yeah.
use it just like that. So basically, we're opening the possibility to access AI solution to a lot of people. So,
Understood.
right now, if you're not like a very wealthy guy or a big company, it's very hard to, hire a specialized team of AI developers to create models for you. And we think that is wrong. So that this is our vision
Interesting.
to
Interesting.
let people have access and use the AI technology without having to pay the high cost, which currently are not affordable for small
Understood.
companies or for the end consumer.
I got it now. Got it. Because the way you're positioning it, like you go on the internet today, you can go on websites and download templates of code, right? You know, you can get like different code, and what you're saying is that, or you can even go on the internet and download templates for your PowerPoint slides. You can get templates for website design. You can get all these different things, and what you want to do is create that app store experience for people to download AI powered apps or mini apps that they can inject onto their website, right? With a simple API, right? And it could very easily just plug into what you're doing. Andrei, tell me about the data though, right? Because my second question was, okay, somebody has put together an AI powered mini app, something that I can put on my website, but AI needs to have enough data and it needs to be trained. And I feel that didn't come out in your pitch. I wanted to know how you solve that problem, right? Because having AI that's not trained is correct. Andrei, you're more of the expert. I'm just the professor, right?
But basically, we create an ecosystem that it has like 4 major stakeholders. You have the consumer, you have the AI innovator, which is building apps. We have infrastructure provided. We provide infrastructure where this AI can be trained and executed. And of course, we also have the data set provider. So basically, company that currently possess training set or data set that can be used by AI innovator to train their algorithms can basically sell it to Openfabric. So they can push the data set, and the innovators can simply get the data, train their algorithms, and create the end solution. So basically, we say that we are an ecosystem that brings together all these people that normally do not work together in the same place. So basically, the end solution and AI innovation can happen very, very simple.
So, Andrei, can I suggest a word? Would pre-trained AI models, does that make sense to you if I said that? You know? Because I know you have the different stakeholders, but when I'm talking to an investor, okay, he just wants to know that you're delivering, pre-trained, right? Because AI needs to be trained to be effective. AI models, AI scripts, right? I think maybe the word script is probably the better. And so you're creating that overall ecosystem so that today, if I wanted to create an AI model, I would have to hire a data scientist. I would have to train it up, and that might cost me a couple of $100,000 to get going. Okay.
Using the
sorry, how much?
That's the price. $150K.
150,000. Okay, you're very specific on that, so I'll write that down. So it would cost a lot of money, but if I came to the Openfabric process, there are people out there that have built similar or maybe even the same type of model that I'm looking for, and you can get a pre-trained model that I can plug and play into my platform for a couple of $100. Is that right, Andrei?
Yes.
Is that fair to say? Right?
Yes.
So you have a big difference. And not only that, it's done instantly. I can get it done in a week versus spending 6 months. Correct?
Yes.
Right. So $150,000, 6 months versus, a couple $100 and 6 days. Is that right?
Yeah. Basically, the process of deploying those solutions in the Openfabric environment is like instantly. You click on a button, it's deployed and it's ready for you. And of course, if the model is pre-trained, it's even more simple.
Yeah. Andrei, you spent a lot of time talking about Web3. Okay.
Yes.
Right. And I know Web3 kind of has its ups and downs, right? Okay. I know right now it's on a bit of a down. Okay. We're having this conversation in June 2022. Okay. Right. I could be wrong, right? You might listen to the podcast in a month and everyone's going to be like, why did Ash say that? It's, Bitcoin's at $100,000 now. He's a moron. But my point though is I wanted to understand why Web3 is so important to this, because I feel like, when I think about it, right, I've done Web 1.0, 2.0. I did Web 3.0. I thought Web 3 was actually going to be Web 4, but they've called it Web 3 again. I'm a bit of an old guy here, but I didn't fully understand why Web 3 was so critical to your pitch, because what you're doing right now is so powerful. So tell me about why Web 3 is so important again.
I guess the key point of using Web3 and decentralization is that, you have to provide scalability without being like a huge guy. I mean, right now, if you want to have access to a solution, you go to Google, you go to Amazon, to all these big players that basically they keep all the information in a single place. And I think the future is about creating, systems where people can join and bring their infrastructure and an idea. And basically, we can grow the entire ecosystem in a more natural way, in a more organic way. So basically, the more infrastructure provider can join our ecosystem, the more powerful it gets, the more scalable it is.
Got it.
So without ourselves to be like the owner of like entire ecosystem, do server and everything.
Yeah. So this relates to the trained data, right? Because you can use Web3 as the storage layer, right? And best in class kind of anonymized stored information in order for people to get access to data. Is that correct, Andrei?
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Because I know that you spoke about an ICO and some of these other things. I always find like, when you're talking to an investor, it's always about the value proposition and why you're using technology for the best of its use, right? And when we think about blockchain, anonymized data and storage, I feel like that starts to get interesting. That's a little bit more relevant to what you're doing, right? So you're looking for $500,000 to get this going?
So yeah, currently I have almost closed the 500,000 seed round.
Okay.
And yeah, this is the next step. Yes. Got
it. So you want to close your 500,000 seed round. Is that where you're at right now? Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. I understand. All right. Andrei, would you like me to pitch Openfabric to you?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to, now you get to introduce yourself. Okay. And I will pitch your idea back to you. All right. So you go ahead. You can be anyone you want, and I will pitch the Openfabric platform to you.
Hello, I'm Mark Sequoia. I'm very interested in how you are using AI to make it a more commodity than is like today.
Yes. Mark, thank you very much. It's again an honor to meet somebody from Sequoia Capital today. As you might know, Mark, over the years, we've seen the process of commoditizing and the consumerification of different elements on the web, right? There was a time when you had to know code to build an HTML page. There was a time when you needed to know a lot of code, and it was very cumbersome to build an app. And we've gone to those no-code environments and places where you can just buy the script and buy the templates. Now, as you know, artificial intelligence is here. It's here to stay. Openfabric has created the platform for us to provide trained AI scripts in a vast array of areas to truly disrupt the artificial intelligence development space. So the idea for us is very simple. Instead of you going and hiring a data scientist and spend for $150,000 and spending 6 months on developing an AI model to tangibly help your business, we actually provide trained AI scripts that are available for just a couple of $100, okay, with anonymized data on our beautiful Web3 platform, and enables you to activate, right, in 6 days instead of 6 months. We feel that this is going to be the future of how small businesses, medium businesses are going to approach artificial intelligence and build machine learning algorithms. And we want to make sure that we work with the best-in-class venture capitalists like Sequoia Capital to make this work. I'm about to close our $500,000 seed round, and I want to talk to you more about how we become the storefront for artificial intelligence and machine learning on the internet. Thank you.
Great.
Okay. So that's how I would pitch it, Andrei, right? So I took all the conversations we just had, okay? I did bring in Web3, but the Web3 was very specific, okay? Right? I was very specific on why I was using it. And just this idea that, you know, just like with OpenSea and NFTs, okay? It's become kind of that storefront. I want you to be that storefront. Openfabric should be that storefront, okay? And it's something that people understand. And I tried to relate it back to HTML and coding and, you know, because Mark Sequoia is an old guy, right? He's like me, right? He's in his 40s, right? So I wanted to make sure that happened, Andrei. Does that make sense, Andrei? Was that helpful?
Yes, very helpful. And very, very plain explained and, you know, understood.
Well, I try to like, you know what happens, Andrei, when I hear pitches, sometimes we try to overcomplicate things. But what I've realized is that investors are very simple beings, right? You just want to get to the logic. And if you heard what I said, you know, 150,000, 6 months, okay? Couple of $100, 6 days, okay? And then the person will, you know, move forward, and be in a position to find out more, right? So I felt like this is where you wanted to go with Openfabric. I feel like that's a beautiful big picture for you, Andrei. And I feel like if you can reach that level of momentum, that's a beautiful business. Okay. And it's actually a great use case for data on a Web3 perspective. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I want to thank you again for joining us, and our pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity for us to help you along your startup journey, Andrei. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. There's a message for you. I just sent a message on the Zoom chat for you. Please have a look. And, you know, we're always here to help evolve and develop, and look forward to our next interaction, Andrei. Thank you very much.